Hi Tea Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out Stray Kids' 5-star album, finally. I'm just constantly in a state of trying to catch up with Stray Kids music. I've just accepted that I will forever, perpetually be left behind. I'm excited though to check out this album. I've been very intrigued by the different songs that I've heard throughout it and the way that I feel like the story is progressing with how they wanted to tell this story, starting off with S-Class and then going off into like Beautiful, like the transition of that. So I'm really interested to see how that kind of the whole story arches this album as I fill in the gaps with the other songs. All right, starting with Hall of Fame, which I think is interesting just from the title, with Hall of Fame, S-Class, and again, the way that we transition through this album from this place of like a ton of self-confidence into this place of it feels like someone crashing and burning, and we even have a song called Collision on this. So I feel like we're gonna be getting into some stuff throughout this album, but we're starting off with a bit of like braggadocious energy, I feel like. Look how cute his little smile is. Sorry, just got distracted. Stranger Things? I wasn't ready to get screamed at by Han. Okay, hang on a second. One, my volume was not loud enough, which I know is a risk when it comes to a Stray Kids song, but I needed to be louder. I love the star imagery in the beginning, Galileo, even though like throughout the gallery, right? Like this idea of making yourself like artwork enough to be scattered throughout a gallery and all of that. It's really like pretty imagery. That bass is crazy. The sun revolves around him. Ooh, wait, Han. Hang on. My proud footsteps are framed? Dang. To be like, see all the places, things that I've accomplished, right? All of the places that I've been to through my success. You have to frame them and put them up because I'm like the first one to do that, right? I love that falling cadence too. Oh my goodness. No, it's too much. It's too much. We switched up all the instrumentation. I was distracted by how beautiful Ian's voice sounded there. And then Benny came in and just, I got flustered. I like ignore time zones. The light bulb top citizen.
Shaking the industry, quaking reality, making it iconic.
I don't even know where to start. Okay, I need Felix to not growl his way through his lines. But also thinking like footsteps like Armstrong, I was thinking that and I was like, oh, we had the line with Han of frame my footsteps. I almost said it. I was like, oh, like moon landing. Like the first ones to reach those heights and all of the galactic imagery of like stars and sun and that imagery. And I was gonna say and I didn't. I held myself back because I was like, maybe I'm reaching, but apparently not. Apparently I was on the right track. Bang Chan's vocals, gorgeous. Love the melody there. It's giving me Charmer vibes and I'm always okay with that. And then Felix's line of waking the industry. Yeah, y'all are like loud and proud. Even though like jaw drop. Yeah, I did. My jaw did drop. That is what happened. I just want to find Felix's line. Shaking the industry, quaking reality, making it iconic. They are the thunderous ones, especially with Felix's voice, right? The way that he is one of the first people that people getting into Stray Kids can pick out because he has such a distinct voice, right? He stands out in a lot of their like really big tracks because he has such a distinct like image and voice, and the way that those two things don't seem to go together, right? So having him say that line, I think, is also just like a really good use, because it's not only drawing attention, but it's also mirroring the line really well. Like having that deeper cadence definitely has a bit more of a like rumble to it, and then having the like iconic, right? All of it. I just like lyricism, vocal performance. We have a couple of people that we haven't heard from yet, which just make me like a little bit nervous. What is Hyunjin gonna bring? What is Lino gonna bring? I'm just like,
Shaking the industry, quaking reality, making it iconic.
that mixing's crazy too. Vocals in the back. I'm sorry, I was slightly distracted by the beautiful vocals that are layered up in the back behind this verse. I just, Felix, don't. But all of the name dropping, I love it. Like, we had what, Thomas Edison, Armstrong, we have Shakespeare here, Faker, right? I just, if you're in the same Hall of Fame, why not, right? Einstein, man. Yo, wait, immortal like Hawking in black holes, I'm walking? I'm gonna need a minute with that lyric, because hold on, let's just look, as someone who is a physics nerd, dang, I think it's very pointed that they're specifically pointing out Stephen Hawking, not only because of the kind of work that he did, but also because he is one of the people, fun story about him, he made a bet with one of his friends because his friend was like, no one can disprove your theory, and Hawking made a bet with his friend and was like, I bet I could figure out how to disprove it, and then he did, for the giggles. And I think that fits so well with Stray Kids, to just like, whenever someone's, oh, you can't do this, or you'll never one up what you've done before this, and have them just be like, bet, all right, let's figure it out. I love bringing that imagery into this, of the only person who could outdo us is ourselves. That lyric took me out. We're at the beginning of this. Grand Slam. Lino.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, darling. I don't want to. I'm sure you're about to say, just sing something beautiful. Between Lino also growling at me. Don't do that. And then I was just thinking, oh, I like that we have the Armstrong, I'm strong. That's a fun wordplay. And then you actually put Neil Armstrong as a sample in your song? Oh, this song pissed some people off. Look, not to use minor language in this, but like, someone listened to this song and was like, how dare you? Between the name drops and the samples, like, they stepped on some people's toes, and I appreciate that. I like that they just leaned so far into it. I think that is like not only a way of committing to the bit, right? Like I feel like if you only did this halfway, it wouldn't work, right? You had to fully commit to it. And I feel like actually putting in a sample of Neil Armstrong is like the icing on the cake for this. It's gonna make some people angry because any moment that they like basically do anything, someone's gonna get mad. But comparing yourself to some of these names and actually sampling them in your work, people got mad, and I appreciate that. I like that they set out to be like, this is gonna upset some people, and we're still gonna break records. Oh well.
It's one small step for man,
With the horn,
giant leap for mankind.
like vocals.
It's one small step for
I knew he was gonna sing something beautifully.
leap for mankind.
Gorgeous. Vocal in the back. Ooh, I was hoping that they were going to end on the line of legendary, like a period in the end of this. But I was also thinking in the Bangchan's part of Hear the People Call My Name, the like one like wood sounding instrument in that also makes me think of Domino. I feel like pulling some of that imagery into this of a kind of a similar vibe, but just stepping up, right? Like an upgraded version of what they were talking about in that song. I just think that that's interesting. I love how just committed to that bit they were. Like the amount of name dropping, the wordplay in it was great. I don't think I'll ever recover from the immortal like Hawking line. Shook me in a way that I wasn't ready for, which I think is the point. Wow, what a way to open up an album. That's a statement of how we're going into this. They did say S-Class, so okay, item. I immediately got distracted by Lino in this photo. Dang, boy. Okay. I think that's such a strong opening to this album, though. Like, between Hall of Fame and S-Class, very, like, pointed, saying, hey, we are top line that we're going to get to. But this vibe of, we're definitely at the top of our game. And I just think that adds such another interesting layer to how this album progresses by the time we get to like Dance Like Crazy and all of that. So I don't know what item's gonna be about, other than I feel like we may still be in our braggadocious era of this album. I wasn't ready for the last one. I'm still recalibrating, so that bodes well. 8-bit? We're going to be like item like video games? I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for I ate them Pac-Man. I just, for personal reasons, I'm gonna start this song again and try to calibrate properly. The aggression too. Like they bit out those consonants. The sound too. Ooh, wait, I know I'm interrupting. I'm so sorry. But I have spirit and bravado instead of cash, truth, sincerity, humility, the Trinity. What? I know translations are going to be what they are, but like to start with spirit and then end with the Trinity? Wordplay. I just... feel like we're doing a, again, video game thing, not only because we've had like certain references to like adventure, and then like my bag is full, like I see benefits, like Pac-Man, the 8-bit at the beginning, like this idea of having almost this like legendary item, right? Having something that other people want and having it like make you stand out, and almost you're like a one-man army in a lot of ways, right? If you have a special legendary item that helps you get through the levels. Like I never suffer losses. I wasn't ready for this. I love how Han has more of a laid-back delivery too. Ooh, I wasn't ready for that build up and then the drop there. Okay, first off, the vocal melodies, beautiful. I love that we have the like all the stars in my eyes. Don't we have a similar line in Beautiful? So I like that we're pulling some of that forward, but like in a different context. And all of the talk about like stars and the moon and the sun in Hall of Fame. So again, progressing that, especially since we have the 5 stars, the album, right? Having all of that galaxy imagery in this is a way of redefining what that 5-star means. The way that he sang Divine just like took me out a little bit. Like blessed divine. Lito's voice is like a little bit raspy there, and all the little like game noises are taking me out. But like bling, it's like instrumentation's different here. Ooh, I love the like my plate never overflows. They were talking about like my bag is full, right? Like this idea of I can never run out of like storage space. Yeah, fill to the brim. And then like I eat them all, pack them, never full. The idea of, hey, if you put a challenge before me, if you put anyone before me, if you want to stand in my way of what I'm going after, guess what? I can take down anyone in my way. Like I am never going to run out of energy to deal with that. I'm never going to not have the equipment that I need to pull that off. Like if you want to pick a fight with me and get in the way, good luck, because I'm not gonna slow down for you, right? Like siren almost in the back. See, how was I supposed to keep up with that? Hang on, I gotta go back for lyrics. My brain was like, I need to read all of everything. I like the my name on the list, both in terms of we had Hall of Fame earlier in the album, but also the leaderboard. Love all the game imagery. I love that they're just like, you can tell how much they play games. I'm out of myself too. I'm like, I get it. But I just love how they're like, we're going to talk about the fact that this is like a game to us, right? This is just like unlocking different equipment and levels and maxing out our stats, right? I love comparing that, right? You think that you're actually in a fight. I think we're playing a game, because that's the difference between the levels that we're at. Get rid of extras. I love that too, of not letting, like, even turn down everything, like not letting the noise get in the way or cloud up like the screen, right? Of like how you're trying to like focus on what's going on. Full MP. Even like Achilles for killing skill. Achilles is part of the legend, is like unkillable except for the one weakness, right? When you have to find it. The delivery, like they just sped up so quickly. Like Han started slow and then he was just like, hang on, ratchet it up. Love that flip up too. I like horn in the back.
Celebrate, we go elevate. No pressure, we ain't gonna taste
I love this slowdown. Like the fact that Lito is like growling his way through the beginning of the song, and then we get there and he's just, oh, you would like some gorgeous vocals too? I can also deliver that. Sir, take a seat.
no pressure, we ain't gonna taste
Like there. Same man. Love all the layered vocals. I love the little bling. Oh, it was Han before you just company. Oh, we have God blessed there. Again, so we have, I don't know if that's a good translation that we had earlier when we talked about like the Trinity. And then we have feeling God blessed. We have blessed at another point. We had multiple images of that. Light, divine, spirit as well. Interesting to just have some of that spiritual imagery mixed into this. Like, it's not just that they're talented, it's not just that they put all the work in, it's that they're like meant for this, right? Like this, it's part of why they're here is to do this. And it's not just because of their hard work, it's not just because they got lucky, it's divine intervention in some way. Sorry, I'm gonna let Vinny do this line properly. Hello.
Yeah, it's my item.
Felix! I'm just sorry. I got distracted by my talent is wealth, so I buy this era. That's a bar. For personal reasons, I'm gonna need to hear it again. The whole section.
It's my item.
Ooh, that stutter. Dang! The fact that they like have a bite to the way that they deliver this line specifically, like ate them, Pac-Man, like the way that they have such a bite to that sound, hitting those consonants so hard. I think they did a really good job of choosing who was singing those lines, right? Having someone like Felix and Tengbin, their delivery, their voices for that line, I feel like fits super well with just like the aggression and like the bite to it, that it fits so well with the imagery of Pac-Man, right? I ate them all, like this idea of, hey, you can pick a fight with me if you want. You can decide that you can compete in the same ring as me, but I'm at legendary level and you're like just starting in the game. So maybe don't pick a fight you can't win. And I'm already on the leaderboard, so maybe maybe just sit back and learn the basics before you pick a fight. All of their deliveries, like some gorgeous vocals, some gorgeous melodies, which I expect, but great rap cadences from them, fun wordplay. Again, all things that I check from majority of their discography as I go through it. But just like the aggression in that, I feel like that is a shift in this album. Of starting with Hall of Fame, felt a little bit more laid back, but definitely like in your face, attention grabbing. Yeah, I'm gonna name drop all of the greatest names in history and compare myself to them. What are you going to do about it? Then S-Class, where we definitely had some of that aggressive delivery coming into it, but I feel like this one is a little bit more into that aggression, leaning more into it and having a bit more bite behind it, but also a little more combative. Before it was like, I'm in the Hall of Fame, I'm S-Class, it's not even a competition between us. Even in this, I'm talking about, oh, you can say whatever you want to me. Sorry, there's no damage though. But this one feels more like, hey, they're not going to deal any damage to me, but if you want to pick a fight, I'm going to stand my ground. So you'd better have something up your sleeve to protect you against that. This feels more like them holding their ground as opposed to earlier on songs where it felt a little bit more laid back. I just need a break. I'm like not even halfway through the songs that I need to finish on this album, and I already feel like they're throwing a lot at me, and I don't have the buffer of some of the other songs. Oh God. All right. Super Bowl. Every time I see this song title, I start saying super bored. So I'm going to be happy to actually know what this is. Now, this threw me for a loop a little bit because I know there's a music video, but it's for the Japanese version. I don't really know what that means, so I'll put a pin in it and come back to it later. We can loop back. It's fine. I just wanted to listen to the version that was on this album, and then we'll go to music video later. I don't know. I'm just winging it, to be honest. I don't think I'm ready for this. I'm like still recovering from the past two songs. But we must progress. Oh dear.
Cooking up a storm piece of cake. Spitting out the fire, feel the blaze. Feel the blaze. Taking over, we don't play by the rules. If you wanna feel alive, say the name. Say the name. Say the name. Bellow is curse mic pop filter. Race be kicky hard to get your head of kilter. Keep your dirty hands off me. I'ma show you just wait and see. Don't make it never do we are the ultimate king.
I'm sorry, just several things. The fact that the music coming in, I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna do well with whatever the energy is starting with this one. Because between the production and then Bangchan starting, I was like, it's giving 3 Racha vibes, and I don't need that. I don't need that right now. I'm trying to recover from the previous ones. But the way that he said, like, speakers, mic, pop, filter, like having that pop sound of like literally what a pop filter is for. Love that, of just again playing with the sounds and having that be very narrative leaning to the lyrics. Hyunjin saying keep your dirty hands off me. Know your worth, king. He knows. Dang. I like we also have Dominate. I'm like that was a tour later. I'm just gonna start again. I don't think I need to explain why. I thought we were aggressive at the last one. I feel like I might have to take back that observation. I love that dip on rules. I'm sorry, the Addicted, yes. The beautiful vocals from IM of just like bringing in a bit of softness into all of this aggression that's happening. Beautiful contrast, especially with the lines that he was delivering of just like casually being like, yeah, everything has already been accomplished by me. I'm calibrating. You're throwing so much at me. You're throwing so much at me. Huh? But also, then Hyunjin whispered finger licking. This was fun with the vocals all layered up because it was like them all just singing and having fun. Is this a God's Menu Part 2? I wasn't prepared. I thought Super Bowl, like the Super Bowl, like sports, like you're gonna be like filling a stadium, but instead we're going like Super Bowl, like food. I just need to breathe. I need to remember to breathe, and that's not what's happening on its own. Okay.
Come again. Everything you're craving, yeah, it's all man. Everything you meant to do was all man. Yeah. Hell of a line, yeah, I know it's hella fine. Hell's kitchen tasting divine. You feel it in your system. You want it more for a new flavors. All the shit so bustin'.
No. No, unfair for you to go Hyunjin whispering and then Felix. And we got Michelin mentioned again. I feel like this is a God's Menu Part 2 and I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't warned. Han's line that was taking me out. I don't even know how to process. But you pulled up the instrumentation for that. No. It's catchy too. Like this? Catchy when it's not being whispered at me. And then we whispered again. And I just, for personal reasons, I would go back quite a bit and just listen to it again. And I'm going to have to ask for your understanding and patience. I wasn't ready. Is that Hyunjin in the back for that part too? That has no right being as catchy as it is. I don't even know what it is about the cadence of it or like the syllables that we're choosing. That's gonna be stuck in my head. We're cooking up a Super Bowl. There's just something about that phrase altogether. I gotta move on. The even in lowest resolution? Yes, I'm not gonna be able to get through this. I'm not. I'm so sorry. But this song, this might be the new obsession. I haven't finished the album, so who knows? But like, dang. This is like the swagger though. We had some of the aggression in the previous songs. And then this one is more of them, like, again, just sitting in the fact that this is where they're supposed to be, right? They're just cooking up some more tracks for us. Looking up your timeline's good too. I love that we had in the previous song, though my plate never overflows. And then in this one, we're bringing some of that in. Just free samples, eating up the leftovers of like this idea of, hey, this isn't even the best we have, right? This is just a sample of what we're capable of what we're going to do, of the kinds of feats we're going to have. I was even thinking that, okay, Super Bowl, I know we're going to like the cooking imagery, but if we are also referencing the sport, and I say this as a not sports person, but if you are a singer, the reason that the Super Bowl is important is the halftime show. And I was thinking, oh, it makes it feel like, oh, this is just halftime, right? We had all the game imagery previously of, oh, I'm just playing a game, right? And then this one being like, this is just halftime. Wasn't ready. Like eating imagery again, like Pac-Man. Thank you for not whispering at me again. I won't last. I know I'm interrupting your beautiful, gorgeous vocals again. I'm sorry, sir. Immediately, I was just like, thank you for not whispering this at me. Cue Felix. Okay, I already had to go through Circus where y'all were doing this. Don't do this again. Don't. Dang. I don't know what to do with this song. It's like gorgeous vocals. Love it. Love the way that Han pulled up his chest voice. And then we deviated. I can't process it anymore. I knew it wouldn't last. No, absolutely not. My brain stopped being able to process anything. There are probably so many things that I missed in that. I actually feel a bit lightheaded. Okay, fine. No, that's fine. Everything in that song was absolutely, totally okay. There's a music video? There's a Japanese version. That all English. I want to acknowledge that I figured that out. But there's a Japanese version and there's a music video? What does that mean? I just for curiosity reasons. I don't know what to do with this song other than malfunction. I like that we had star imagery again. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry that I don't have more productive thoughts. I hope I had more throughout listening to this. I'm just gonna have to move on. Do I want to stay here? Yes. Do I want to listen to it over and over again? Also yes. But I will continue to move through the album for the sake of getting this video done. But I want you to know I'm not okay. I feel very flustered and unwell going into this one, but acknowledging that we had quite a few songs in between. So we had Top Line, DLC, and Get Lit. So I'm assuming that this is going to be a little bit of a different vibe from the beginning of the album, because we had so much of that kind of like confidence, but then as we hit that middle mark is when I started to feel like lyrically and some of the visuals in the videos started to feel more like somebody who is collapsing under the weight of their own like fame, notoriety, success, right? Like kind of claiming all of this success up to this point and then getting to a point where you're like, I actually don't know how to hold all of this. So Collision feels like maybe we're going to be dealing with some stuff. Y'all better not make me cry after the roller coaster I've already been through. I'm already unwell, feel adrift, so. You put brass in? This doesn't sound like a ballad.
gat게 있던지 어디 I cannot find you now 두서 없는 말로 널 잡기는 힘들 것 같아 구긴 표정 풀어 내가 더 잘할게 울지 마내 품 속에 넌 때쯤 내게 넌 baby where you from I say maybe not romantic 했던 추억의 상소각 hello에 터져 버리면 영 같아
My gosh, I wasn't ready for any of it at all. I was like, at least it doesn't sound like a sad ballad. And then you have to have Han starting off with, did you come to hate me that much? As an opening line? I'm fine. I'm just tired.
내가 그렇게 미워져 네 손앞편 가깝게 있던지 어디 I cannot find you now 두서 없는 말로 널
Got Benny vocals.
구긴 표정 풀어 내가 더 잘할게 울지 마내 품
Oh my god, wait. The line of, I'll do better, don't cry? No, that's gonna make me cry. That's gonna make me cry. Oh dear.
가깝게 있던지 어디 I cannot find you now 두서 없는 말로 널 잡기는 힘들 것 같아 구긴 표정 풀어 내가 더 잘할게 울지 마내 품 속에 넌 때쯤 내게 넌 baby where you from I say maybe not romantic 했던 추억의 상소각 hello에 터져 버리면 영 같아 미안해 그냥 내 잘못했어 그 놈의 생각 없어 다시 한번 그때로 돌아가는 사랑한단 말해줘
Baby, baby, let's go back to the day we
내가 그렇게
Aww. Just again, like going off of a bunch of the other things that have come in between, right? Of Super Bowl and this one. Again, feeling like somebody crashed out a little bit, was going through some stuff, was like escaping. There was this self-destructive feeling to a lot of those songs, at least like lyrically, in my opinion. And then getting to this point of almost a wake-up call of someone being like, again, like collision, of hitting like an end point where you have to look around and be like, oh no. You see the destruction in your wake, right? Like you were just like barreling ahead and like having that kind of self-destructive feeling and not looking around to see what you were leaving in your wake. And we get into some of that more in the songs that come after this of how do we build instead of destroy? How do we like remake after it feels like something has fallen apart? And this feels like someone realizing that while they were spiraling and in that self-destructive behavior, that there were casualties along the way, right? There were people who were collateral to that behavior. And it's gonna get to me. I need to go back a little bit more.
추억의 상소각 hello에 터져 버리면 영 같아 미안해 그냥 내 잘못했어 그 놈의 생각 없어 다시 한번 그때로 돌아가는 사랑한단 말해줘
Baby, baby, let's go back to the day we
내가 그렇게 미워서 네 우린 운명이라 말했었던 우린 다 저 하늘에 가졌다 시간이 지나 우리 만나서 부서지더라 그 흔적이 온 우주 전체를 맴도는 이밤 yeah 중독 yeah yeah request 발표는 어디 yeah 중독 yeah 우린 벌써 저기 멀리
Ooh, okay. I love the like elongation of, I don't know exactly what the wording would be in terms of like word order because I don't know Korean like that well, but emphasizing, I'm assuming like either we're like collision when we're elongating that out, in which case most of the time collisions are, I guess, like subject final, isn't it? Anyway, this idea of elongating things and like this collision, and usually a collision is really quick, right? Like the actual impact happens really fast. Whereas like this is like elongating out that moment and being like, let me just realize kind of the suspension of time of looking around and realizing that I messed up. And it feels like it's backtracking through it, right? Like in the moment it happened so fast and out of nowhere, but looking back in retrospect, you can pick apart how we got to that point, right? Like how everything built up to that moment. And I like the image of the fragments like orbiting around, right? Like space debris, again, bringing in some of that space galaxy imagery, but instead having this feeling of like almost orbiting around where there used to be something, right? And instead it's like these fragments and you're maybe hoping that they'll be brought back together by like gravity and all of that, as opposed to floating off their own thing. Like there's something at the center of those fragments that is big enough to pull everything back in and make it work again. I love bringing in some of that imagery into this. Okay, like collision then maybe? Again, elongating that. Ooh, okay. Again, I love bringing in this difference of like, why are you acting a fool like that? I feel like maybe is more like it could be towards this other person, but it could also be towards yourself of like, why was I doing all these things to mess everything up? And then being like, I just want you to treat me the way that you used to. We talked about like rewinding time before. And then I also love that Han had a faster delivery. Like I was saying, we have this elongating part where it seems like it was on the word collision, at least like again, translations are going to be what they are, and I'm just going to do my best as someone who does not speak Korean, but again, like elongating out that moment to try and figure out what happened, or being able to see in retrospect that there was more to it than just like that moment of impact and like the quick brief moment of that. And then having Han speed up of almost, hey, let me like say all these things and get out all of these thoughts because I'm playing catch up now. Like I didn't realize that I was messing things up the way that I was until there was already collision. There was already damage, and now I have to play catch up and say everything that I want to. Yeah, like it's not easy to say things like this in retrospect. Things have already happened. We've already had the collision. We've already had the breaking point. And this is just trying to catch up and explain where I'm coming from in this and wanting to rebuild it. I didn't realize that this collision was going to happen. So having that sped up delivery, I think really fits with it, because it's just like someone like desperately trying to get out everything and be like, oh God, I didn't realize that everything was going on. Well, I was like off doing my own thing and not looking at the collateral for what I was doing and going through. I love the like, it's night and then morning and then the end about like your life, this like going through all of that. You're the beginning and the end if we fall apart. Like just, I love the like kind of progression of these lyrics. They're really beautiful imagery. And again, I love bringing in a bunch of this kind of galaxy space imagery into so many of the different songs and taking them from a bunch of different perspectives. And for an album that's called 5 Star, I think that's really fun. I think his part on the end is also fun. Ooh, 2 planets crashing. Ooh, okay. Again, I love the planets crashing, again, that collision, even though like half as strong as we used to be, acknowledging that like collision and the fragments, right? Instead of being like 2 planets, it's like kind of the fragments hanging around, even though like piece of dust flying around. It's, hey, I just want to be in your orbit, even if I'm just like a speck of dust floating around, right? Just all the lyricism. Like keeping that quick delivery. Even though like you're already far away, okay, we collide, it creates all of these like fragments, and then it's like you're already like gone. Like the momentum means that we're no longer in the same place anymore, which I think is so interesting too. Ooh. Phone ringing. And someone picked up. Someone picked up the call. That's gonna be like, okay. I don't know, again, like trying to make that connection. Again, trying to make amends. I loved all of the beautiful imagery in that of, again, bringing that space imagery and this idea of realizing your mistake and wanting to turn back time and wanting to try again, but it's already too late. You realize it. You're like, oh, there were so many signs and I just didn't see it in the moment until there was a collision, until it was too late, until everything was falling apart and crumbling. But there were signs, and we just go back and let me try again. If I could go back now with the knowledge that I have, I wouldn't have made the same decisions. I would have fixed the problems when they popped up instead of getting to this point where there's too many, right? It's too late to repair all of those issues and that damage. Heartbreaking, right? But beautiful imagery. And I think that it fits so well with the kind of stuff that they were talking about throughout the album. Again, like the beginning of this album feeling very like braggadocious and taking your wins, right? And your words and saying, hey, I'm very good at what I do, and taking that from like a bunch of different angles, from again, braggadocious to more like aggressive to very laid back and unbothered, right? Lots of different images in that. And then getting to the halfway point where it feels like falling under the weight of having all of that success, right? With all of that attention comes a lot of other stuff and a lot of scrutiny and a lot farther to fall. And this feels like someone realizing that while they were caught up in everything that was going on and trying to just like barrel forward and bear it, like grit your teeth and bear it, and not look too deeply at what you were feeling and what you were going through and how you were feeling this internal chaos that you weren't looking at. You didn't realize that you were also affecting the people around you, right? It's already bad, but I've talked about in their other songs of having kind of that self-destructive feeling of, okay, if everything's just going to fall apart, then I might as well just go full tilt into it, right? It's one thing to feel that. It's another to realize that the people that care about you and that you care about are getting caught up in that, right? Because they do care about you, because they're going to get hurt if you're hurt, right? But then also, you can't take care of other people. You can't treat people the way that you want to when you're not taking care of yourself, right? If you can't protect and take care of yourself and not do harmful things to your own person, how are you going to put that love and care and protection for someone else, right? So I love having this be part of it, especially going into like the end of the album. I know technically the sound Korean version is in this. I've already heard that song, so I'm not going to be checking it out in this reaction. But we have a mixtape, and then we also go into FNF, which I always should say because I can't remember which version, if it's Fauna and Flora or Flora and Fauna, because my brain wants to have them in one order and it's a different order in the song. Anyway, and then going into Beautiful, right? Like this idea of looking around and realizing the beauty of not only the world around you and how much you care about the place that you're in, right? But also like the people that are important to you and wanting to be comforting and caring for them. So it's like this shifting point of them looking around and being like, okay, it isn't about just fame and awards and being in the Hall of Fame. It isn't just about me having this kind of like divine intervention for how talented and successful I am. It's also about the planet around me. It's about my home. It's about my family. It's about the people who support me and have lifted me up to that point. I love that this album has such a beautiful transition with that, right? Like of going from I'm the star to you're the star, right? You were the stars that help guide me. And I love that kind of progression as we go through this. So I was going to do mixtape timeout, but I just realized we have a video for that. So I'm going to do that in its own video because we've already been here a very long time. Okay, so we'll have to loop back to Super Bowl Japanese version. I don't really know what's all involved in that other than there's a music video, and I'll do timeout on its own because, again, just the number of sheer songs on this. I didn't realize we had another video because it was on the JYP channel instead of Stray Kids. So my bad, y'all. We'll loop back to it though. Incredible album. I think there are so many good moments in this, lyrically, performance-wise, production. I think just some of the topics that they talked about in it. I think it just had such a rich storytelling and looking at so many different angles to something. I think that it was so interesting to see how I felt about the songs on their own, and then going into some of the videos that we had and some of the imagery that they brought in, even just the switching of the order of how they released the videos versus how they ordered the album, and just like how they were deciding to tell the stories differently depending on like the visuals versus the audio. Incredible. I think that Super Bowl will forever haunt me. I don't know if I'll ever fully recover from that particular track. So that's probably fine. It's so interesting to bring the star imagery in, right? Of going from 5-star as in like a rating and being like, we're amazing, we're S-class, and then transitioning into stars as through a bunch of different lenses until you get to the point of you're my stars, you're my galaxy, you're like what is guiding me through what I'm doing. So I just think that's such a beautiful sentiment for this album to go through. Again, we have one more song, but we probably have a cute video, so I'm gonna watch that. There's so many for this album that it's hard for me to keep up like all Stray Kids content. I'm just trying, okay? I'm just trying to stay afloat in the sheer amount of content from them. But I hope you enjoyed listening to the album along with me. You can click this playlist to go to my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post a Stray Kids reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.